Hello, welcome to the Peaceful Wood Turner. This is a piece of ornamental maple that came from outside of my church, and it's been sitting and drying for a long time, and I'm hoping to be able to actually get something useful out of it. Particularly, as is normal for most churches, there's a woman at the church who does pretty much everything, and I was hoping to be able to make a small vase for her out of this, just as something to, kind of commemorate or recognize her connection to the church. So, like I said, it's ornamental maple. I've got it mounted between centers right now, and I'm going to start off relatively slow so I can get it down to round. And once I do that, I'm actually going to put it in my chuck so I can do a nicer job on it. As is true all the time with me, this is found wood. Be very, very careful with found wood. Always, check for nails and screws and wires and everything else. I'm going to go nice and careful with this, and I've had it in my shop for a long time, and I've been getting to know it for a while. So, here we go. Alright, I got part of it roughed down. I've got it in the chuck. It's a lot more stable now. I can go a little bit faster. I'm just going to get the rest of it down to round, and I'm really hoping that I get some nice figure out of these knots and stuff that are up in here. And once I get it down, I'll be able to see what I can actually do with it. So the inside is mostly hollowed out with the Forstner bits. Just need to do some finish work to make it have kind of an even thickness all the way through, and finish off the rim up here. Then it'll just be a matter of smoothing it out. The stuff is cutting pretty nicely. It is rather dry and it's very fine, so I'm getting a lot of dust and stuff. It's harder to get an actual smooth cut. But here we go. As you can see, I'm getting a lot of vibration. I thought maybe I was out of true and I couldn't quite figure out how that could have happened, but as I've been looking at this and working with a little bit off camera, what I found is there's a lot of grain difference inside of this from the different branches and stuff that have been coming into it, all the different knots and everything else. So basically I've got hard and soft spots, which is causing me to dig in a little bit more in one spot and a little less in another and get a really, really heavy vibration. So what I'm going to do is just do a couple more passes to just kind of smooth things out in here a little bit. I've got the body down, the wall down almost to a size I like, but I don't want to push too hard and end up breaking through somewhere or having it shatter or something like that. It is very dry. It really feels almost like a ceramic, like it could just break really easily. So I'm going to do a couple smoothing passes, and I'm going to try to smooth this a little bit right here, and then we'll finish off the outside and go from there. It's time to try to take some of these tool marks out. Got my large skew here. My skew and I don't always get along, so we will see what happens. I think I've got stuff set up pretty well. Some days I do really well with the skew, some days I just don't. Be happy to hear any tips you have. Alright, sanded down nice and smooth. I'm going to part it off so that I can reverse chuck it and sand the outside a little bit better. And then I'll start working on my finish. I'm just going to be using a small parting tool. Alright, you can see this is pretty rough, so what I'm going to do now is just sand that down a bit, and then I can work on applying my finish. I got the bottom sanded. I didn't show you all of that. I've got it now jam chucked so that I can do a nice reverse sanding on it. This dark here that you see is because I put a dark stain on the inside and some of it's coming through. So this is obviously very, very porous. So hopefully I'll be able to sand that away enough that it won't be a problem, and then it'll blend in with whatever stain I use. So it's maple. I'm going to use a stain that calls itself Colonial Maple. I'll put a couple of coats of this on. Probably do a little sanding between each coat just to make sure that everything is staying nice and smooth. Sometimes the stain does like to raise the grain. The stain will definitely show me all my mistakes. Alright, that's a nice first coat. I'll do a few more, put a nice little finish on it, and I'll show you what it looks like.